Now that Fear the Walking Dead has been and gone, what are we looking forward to next? Well, it is The Ones Who Live. We get Rick Grimes and Michonne back again in the Walking Dead universe. So far they have shown very little, but my initial impression of these teasers is that this show is going to be much more of a grittier affair. Over the last few weeks I've been covering the end of Fear the Walking Dead, and I think most people are in agreement that the final reunion was cool to see, but the crap we had to watch to get to that was pretty unbelievable. And if you do want to see some ranting, then do check out those old videos. But I mention this because that show was part of the old chapter in this universe, and now we're moving forward with these new spin-offs like Dead City and Daryl Dixon, and of course The Ones Who Live. And with The Ones Who Live, it has a lot of pressure on it because this is the one with Rick Grimes, the one we've been waiting for such a long time. In the past we were going to have Rick Grimes movies, but now of course we're getting this TV show instead. But the main thing is, whatever Rick does, he will form that framework for the future of this whole franchise. And I think it's really important now for them to get this right, especially at the first hurdle, because I don't think a lot of people are going to watch into a season 2 if this season 1 doesn't actually deliver. Because out of all the shows, this is the one which will bring back old fans to the series, because you've got Rick Grimes, you've got Michonne, you've got those key players there. And also Rick Grimes, it's his story. He started it off all the way back in season 1. People want to see the conclusion of his story. Now you might be thinking, hold on, I've watched every episode, every spin-off, who cares about these fair weather fans? But the thing is, with the way this universe is shaping up, with these spin-offs having multiple seasons, I think we'll be getting those over the next few years. But I think the end game of the overall story is to have it maybe as a big feature film. And if that is the case, they're going to have to increase the demand. And the thing is, with The Walking Dead, it's nowhere near the level of popularity it had back in the day, but to bring people back, you need to make quality content. In regards to the main show, a crucial point where a lot of people dropped off was when Glenn and Abraham got killed. And that's because the show took a tonal shift where we got more of a fantasy element with the kingdom. There's so many different communities being introduced, and also our characters were divided all over the place, and so everything got much more diluted. Something that's been encouraging recently is that they do seem to be now focusing on those three main shows: Dead City, Daryl Dixon, and The Ones Who Live. In the past, they have done shows like World Beyond and Tales of the Walking Dead, but if we look at Marvel as an example, you can have too many things ongoing at once. And I think using that example again, having those three main shows is sort of a bit like having those three main characters we had at the start of the MCU with Thor, Captain America and Iron Man. It's much more focused, people know what's going on, and we can get ready for that eventual crossover. They can of course still share different stories or different points of view from this universe through animation or video games, for example. I mean, we did just have the release of The Walking Dead Destinies, which unfortunately does look pretty shit.
Well, that sucks.
One of the big issues we've been talking about a lot for Fear the Walking Dead is the writing, and I got to hope that with this show, The Ones Who Live, it will be good, because it's been in development for a very long time. They've had many years to work on this, to work on the story going forward. So like I said, the pressure is on for them because it's been so much time for them to prepare for it and to build a great story. And ultimately, if they can get back to the roots where we have a narrative which is built in realism, we have characters where we can get fully invested and really get into their drama, and also we can see walkers which are actually a threat again. And we've seen with Daryl Dixon that we have the variants. I'm really looking forward to see what The Ones Who Live has to offer in that regard, because the walkers are such a huge aspect of the show. And not only that, the creators now have the opportunity to give a fresh feel to the zombie genre by doing many different cool things with these variants, make people have that FOMO for the show, really build up that intensity and be like, wow, I have to come back and watch this, or I have to watch it for the first time and let me catch up and watch the whole Walking Dead. It seems like they've added some good cast members to The Ones Who Live, and with Denai Guerrero and Andrew Lincoln, they're brilliant, so there are some really good positive signs for this show. And referring back to my previous point about increasing demand, to do that you have to get these shows in people's faces, but still in many territories including the UK, you can't watch Dead City, Daryl Dixon, and we won't be able to watch The Ones Who Live when it comes out legally. I said it before in a previous video, but when you have a worldwide fan base, you really want to have them all watching the show around the same time. Give or take maybe a day, but around the same time if you can. Like, just look at Invincible, for example. Everyone's watching that around the same time, everyone's on their social media platforms talking about it, the buzz is huge. And if you want to get that buzz going, you got to have people watching it around the same time. There's no point someone watching it a whole year later and it's just going to have it all separated, and that's just not going to work. Because at the end of the day, I'm a massive Walking Dead fan, and I'm sure many of you watching are as well, and I just really want to see the series do well going forward and have a great conclusion. And to do that, it has to nail everything as well as it can, and when there are things which are being clearly neglected, they have to sort them out ASAP. With the first episode airing on the 25th of February, we haven't got that much longer to wait, and looking at what happened with Daryl Dixon, I think we'll probably get a full-length trailer around the start of January. Anyway, now the question turns to you. What would you like to see going forward for The Walking Dead, and what do you think they need to do to make it the most successful it can be? Let me know down in the comments below. But for now, if you want to watch another video, we have many Walking Dead ones on the channel, and also on screen is a review for The Hunger Games: The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.